Hi guys, this is Jacqui Cooper with J. Cooper Travels, and today I have Sara again with Awaken Media, and this is part of a continuing series that we're doing in podcasts. And we cover a lot of different areas. We're talking about both a different individual's spiritual journey as well as physical journey. And for those that have been following my podcast, you might know that I'm in the travel space, hence the picture of the beach behind me. But also, we travel in different ways around the world. We travel both internally as well as externally. And so the podcast purpose is to share stories of different individuals and how they are kind of navigating what they're doing now, where they came from and where they're going to go. And so with that, Sara, thank you so much for coming back. And we had our initial talk was a very spiritual and very open to, variety of different ways that you have kind of emerged and learned about your own sense of being. And that sort of led you to where you are now with your developing a company with the name Awaken. But we didn't really get a chance to talk about some of the other things that you did prior to developing that. So we're going to talk more about your story right now. And I appreciate you being on because the next podcast is actually going to be about another project that you're working on that is going to help a lot of people. So like I said to everyone, this is a series, and please definitely subscribe so that way you can always be in the know of what's happening next. But I'm going to stop talking right now, and thank you so much for being here.
But Jacqui, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you for extending a hand to your community. Thank you.
So, how did you get started? I know in our episode last time you talked about coming from a dairy farm and also kind of navigating the entertainment community and also enjoying and dealing with different life situations through humor. But from a professional standpoint, how did you end up going different ways, and what have you learned and that type of thing?
Well, thank you so much. Yes. Well, first, I just have to always give acknowledgement to those who have mentored me. And I pray that I can also be that more. I think recently I've come to understand that I actually am being that for a lot of the entrepreneurs in particular that have come across my path, I would say really in the last 6 months, because I believe that most of us that are alive right now can understand that we're going through such a unique period in time. And we also have technology. And this is why we're able to be together right now, Jacqui. And so I honor that and I appreciate it so much. But I also know that with the technology, we're also seeing that there are obstacles, that there are challenges. I fundamentally do have confidence and belief in the higher nature of us as a race, human beings, that is, human beings, the global community that I believe that we all represent. And sometimes when people say global community, there might be now lots of different perceptions of what that means. So let me say what that means for me, Jacqui, please. I simply mean that I believe that we are the human race and that we have a lot in common, and we have matters that have unfolded over periods of time in the history of all of us being on this planet that have caused challenges and rifts and destruction. I also now, because of technology, circling back to the benefit of technology, we now are awake and aware in a way that we weren't able to be before. Those of us willing to be awake and aware, and let me call myself out and say that at the beginning of the pandemic, I was not as awake as I am now. And I have a company called Awaken. And, I had shared with you that I had formed Awaken because I had to go to a lot of meetings and call people, talk every day, and that I wanted to say something more than my name. Hi, it's Sara. It's Sara Lemon. And wanted to say something that would perhaps just put a seed of of thought. Because a lot of times when I meet someone at an event or a function or online, and I say awaken, a lot of times people are going to say, well, what does that mean? And really, what I would say back to you is, what does that mean for you? What does it mean for you to be awake, to awaken right now? And for me, it's this great appreciation and a great challenge, because I shared with you in our first conversation that, at the beginning of everything that was starting to unfold, and I'm here in Los Angeles, California. Have been here for 20 years, raised a family here, have been very fortunate to be surrounded by really phenomenal people, and was not exposed to a lot of the realities that perhaps have come to the forefront, especially online, in communications and communities, of that which has unfolded perhaps within the entertainment or the media communities. I was unaware of many things that have come to the forefront. So I say that to also say that perhaps those things are so. I don't have direct evidence that they are so. However, what I am saying is that I also know, because I've been here for 20 years, that there are really wonderful, beautiful people, great souls of every background, of every socioeconomic, of every unfoldment, ethnicity, of every place from all over the planet here in Los Angeles and in California. And I have met them over these 20 years. I've had the good fortune to call them family and friends and associates and partners. And some of them my daughter went to school with, and I think of them fondly and with high memories. And I pray they think of me the same. But I just know, and I want to share with you, that there is this unifying quality, this love quality, this compassionate quality that also is alive and well and is abundant as well. And as everything continues to shift, I'm shifting my business model as well, because I understand now that perhaps my skills are needed in a different way than they were even 6 months ago. And I know for sure that there are parts of me that are still the girl that grew up on a dairy farm. Absolutely. She's still in me. I also know that for a lot of people, when they meet me, when I'm at school events, social events in Los Angeles, I may not immediately resonate as the girl from the dairy farm. And that's funny to me, because in my mind, when I see me for a long time, I still see myself that way. I have pictures of me as that girl, and I am still that girl. But I also know that that girl has had experiences in being a mother, of being a friend, of living in Los Angeles. Los Angeles sometimes is a little like New York, in the sense of, yes, you can have an open heart and an open spirit, but you need to be awake and aware where you're walking, where you're going, what you're doing. And to me, that's a little bit of the energy of New York. It's like a little fast pace, a little quick walk, get where you're going and get there quickly. But you also can be leisurely. You can go to the beach and you can hang out. You can go to friends' houses and socialize. And you can go to Melrose and get some great food. You can go to the resale shops and get some great recycled clothing. I mean, there's a phenomenal energy. But I say all that to say that there's really great people here as well. And sometimes California gets thrown, just gets thrown off the bus, so to speak, And I'd like to share with you and your community that, yes, we have challenges. But like everywhere, there's challenges where everyone is, probably in your hometown, in your state, certainly in our country right now, we have challenges. Within all of that, I have high hopes for humanity. I have high hopes for California. I have high hopes for myself. I'm not naive in regards to the realities that are unfolding, but I do know that I would like to, as I step deeper into the launching, which has been unfolding for the last year, but particularly the last 6 months. But now, because of everything that's unfolding, what I've learned, and technology shifting right now as we're speaking, new technologies unfolding, new communications being developed, new communities being formed. I'd like to be part of the communities that are seeking to uplift, to unify. I'm not saying we don't acknowledge our differences and our challenges. Those are there. But let's also say that together we can choose to calmly listen to each other and to overcome those challenges as a community. And within that, together as community, we'll decide what we want to focus on. and we'll decide what we're going to co-create together. And so I'm just making a public statement that I'm going to use my skill sets and sometimes my humor. I pray to bring a little levity, bring a little lightheartedness, find the qualities that unite us as human beings, and let's find a way to laugh a little together. Not at each other, no, not at each other. I'm saying together. Because as human beings, there are just foibles that we all share. There are circumstances and experiences we all share. Perhaps you're a mother, or you're a father, you're an uncle, you're an aunt, you're a brother, you're a sister, you're a child. These unifying qualities that bring us together. And I hope to be part of the healing that I believe needs to start to happen. And I appreciate you, Jacqui, for allowing me to step into your community. And I appreciate your time today to allow me to share with you where my heart is right now.
No, I appreciate that too. And I appreciate, the message that you're sharing. I know that you're a life coach, and I know that you're involved in a lot of that area. How do you incorporate that into Awaken Media or help the clients that you're working with? How do you use that skill as well?
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, certainly, if we're just coming from a standpoint of we want to deal with issues that are of the family or of the heart or spiritual nature, that's a conversation separate. So first, we always want to start from where is the need? What do you need to have a conversation about? And so I'm opening myself up from a place of support and listening to first what is needed in the situation, what is needed, and how can I contribute to you? What do you need me to contribute to you? So whether you're working with me professionally, one-on-one, or I'm working with your group or your team, it first starts from how can I be of service to you? And so that comes to a place of listening. And then once that's established, we then go into the processes. But first and foremost, it needs to start with a space that they're safe, that it's private, that's confidential. And then that there's a space for them to be able to share authentically about where they're coming from. So if I'm dealing one-on-one with individuals, it's a bit different than if you're, say, dealing with a team at a company or a team on a production. Because we want to start with what's the goal? What are we all here for, right? What's bringing us together right now for such a time as this? Which is such a classic biblical verse from Esther, from the book of Esther, but how profound it is now for each of us, wherever you're at, what you're dealing with, how you're unfolding, how you're stepping into the world for such a time as this. And I believe that all of us have chosen right now to be here for such a time as this. And so within the context of doing a coaching session, doing a conversational session, we're going to look at what's needed, and then we're going to break down what challenges are coming up. And I'm going to listen. I'm also going to give feedback about how we can overcome those obstacles to working together, but more so empowering you. If you came to me speaking with you, it's about empowering you, because the answer is not inside of me. I am just, if you will, a mirror, so that you can hear back that what you're saying. And oftentimes people are really saying brilliant things about themselves, but they don't realize they're saying brilliant things about themselves. So oftentimes when I'm doing a coaching session, I will mirror back what you just said about yourself. And then it's like, oh, what did I just say that? Yes, this is who you are. This is not coming from me. This is what you've just said to me. And now let me add to what you just said to me about where you're at and what you're doing. And then I will elevate that. Oftentimes what I know is so is, yes, there's teachings. I've gone through the teachings. I understand the modalities. I understand the languaging of what's unfolding. But because I know, and this is my personal choice, to believe that I am a spiritual being having a human incarnation. And I believe everyone on the planet is a spiritual being having a human incarnation. And I honor technology, and I honor all the scientists out there. When you step beyond the numbers and you step into the breath, so I just invite you to breathe. That breath is what I'm talking about, that unites us as human beings. That breath, which oftentimes is connected to a soul, which you might find in your chest or in your gut. You might find that it's in your head, or it's above you, that there's an energy above you or around you. I say it's all of it. It's all of those things and more. Whatever you say it is for you is what's so. So first I'm going to support that, of knowing that's so about you. I do believe that within each of us, there is that light, And then I sit here as a mirror to radiate that light back to you. And then many times through me, not of me, but through me, for the greatest and highest good, that which is of the light, that which I call Christ consciousness, radiates through me, uses my voice, and communicates messages to whom I'm speaking with. Those messages often don't come from my intelligence front, not from my brain. It's coming from the soul aspect that's within me, that's above me, that's around me, that is of the light. That's something that you need to hear, that I could speak into you on behalf of that which is eternal. But the internal energy that is and always will be needs us human beings to manifest those qualities. And that's what we're doing for each other all the time. Those around me and those whose names I've forgotten and that I remember to forget and I forgot to remember, they are of the light, and I honor those which have spoken into me. And I pray today and moving forward that I'm able to pay that forward, to give that away. And I have a skill set that's been given to me over the years, and I honor it and I appreciate it greatly. But now that we are at this place, now that these things are unfolding in our realities, now more than ever, I'm just going to step into service, deep service, of how I can contribute to others, how I can also be a first to myself, be responsible to myself. And when I say that, it's not being selfish for you to also think of yourself. I ask you to think of yourself only in the sense of, is what I'm asking for myself that which I would ask for Jacqui? In the sense of, if I'm asking for peace for myself and happiness for myself and love for myself and for my family, am I willing to say I want that for Jacqui? I want love for Jacqui. I want compassion for Jacqui. I want happiness and peace for Jacqui's family. And then to Jacqui's community. If I say I want this happiness for myself, am I willing to say I want that for Jacqui's community? Am I willing to pray for that every day, every moment of the day for Jacqui's community? In the face of those who may resist what I'm saying, and that's okay, I bless you. It's okay. Because I'm not the only messenger. Thankfully, there are many messengers of light. And what I'm doing through the work I am doing in the industry, in communications, in public relations, online, through the media that's unfolding, is to be a messenger of that light, a carrier of that light, and to acknowledge that that light is unfolding through many, many, many speakers. And if I'm not the speaker for you, I honor that you find the light through someone else is what I pray will happen for you. And I will continue to hold that for you, because many people are out there speaking the light. And that's why I'm part of the messaging, raising awareness about those who are carrying the light, the message of light, which is what? LmnLA, it's love, it's compassion, it's life, liberty, it's justice, it's accountability. I've been held accountable many times in my life and will continue to be held accountable. I ask the same for others, that they be held accountable for the choices that they made. And I ask that for myself as well, that I'm held accountable. But I believe in the Christ consciousness. So I believe in redemption. And I believe that not just for myself, but for others as well. I believe in redemption. And I will continue to carry that within me and pray that that also can be strengthened. And I'm going to continue to fall. I fall a few times a day. But I pray that I'll be able to get up. And when I can't get up, I pray that perhaps you out there will pray for me as well, that you send the love back to me, that beyond my human understanding, when I forget, because I forget, I get scared, I cry, I get upset, I get angry, I get overwhelmed. But that's something inside of me beyond my mind, something that's in my soul, in my breath, that perhaps you will send to me as well, a prayer of love and light, will wake me back up and will also soothe me when I sleep, so that the next day I can wake up refreshed and contribute again to those who need our support. Because right now I know that I'm fortunate. I'm with Jacqui right now and I'm safe in my home. I have electricity, I have water, I have food. But I know, Jacqui, that right now there are many who don't have electricity, who don't have food, who don't have money for groceries. And so I just acknowledge that, and I pray that they are taken care of, and that perhaps all of us can remember them as we're thinking of ourselves. Because sometimes I need to remember that, to pull myself out of my own narcissism and my own comfort, not to beat myself up, but just to take a moment when I'm breathing to say, I pray this for myself, and I pray this for Jacqui. I pray this for Jacqui's community. I pray for all of those that will hear this message wherever they're at, that right where they are is the peace of Christ, is the peace that surpasses all understanding, that there's peace and safety for you. I pray this for myself, because I pray this for myself. I pray this for you. And I pray that you'll send this back to me as well. And that together we can continue to be of service to each other and raise the vibration of love. Because the last thing I'll say, Jacqui, is that know that there is more than enough. We just need to move it around. There is more than enough. Let's just move it around. And there are those who have been hoarding it for dark purposes. Let's release that into the light and let's move it and let's be part of the solution. That's my hope. That's my intent. That's my prayer for today.
And I think it's a beautiful prayer. I love the message of that energy doesn't disappear. You know, it just changes forms, and that we need to spread it around. So with that, I'm going to share to everyone who's listening, there will be on the podcast, there's a little block of information where you can reach out to Sara to learn more about her projects and how to reach her. Just as you'll be able to reach and subscribe to my YouTube channel and the podcast. And also we're going to be doing a follow-up on a very special project that Sara is involved in called Lemonade. And that also is all about service and helping others. So definitely make sure that you tune in so you can learn more about how that's going to unfold and how you can become involved. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing and all the prayers and the support. And any last minute thoughts? Otherwise, we'll continue on and we'll have our follow-up series podcast next week. Any last minute thoughts?
Thank you so much, Jacqui, for this time. I honor you and I so appreciate you and your community. And just a little teaser, it's comedic, it's human, it's lemonade. Capital A-I-D-E, 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 aid. We're going to aid each other with community compassion and humor. That's it, Jacqui. Let's do it.
I think that's great. All right. I'll talk to you soon.